Welcome to the Coriolis Effect with Cory Oliver.
Hi guys, I'm Cory Oliver. Thanks for watching the Coriolis Effect. Please hit the subscribe button below, and we hope you like this episode. Hi guys, we wanted to announce that like many podcasters, we just started a Patreon account. Visit our page at patreon.com/the Coriolis Effect. We have 5 different levels of membership and offer early access to episodes, behind-the-scenes footage, bonus episodes, shoutouts, and much more, including personal phone calls, questions and answer sessions, and live chats with Bob and me. That's patreon.com/the Coriolis Effect. I also want to thank BeverlyHillsBalm.com, which is my partner in my business, for supporting our show. It is BeverlyHillsBalm.com, and it's a jumbo lip balm, which is fantastic. This is the original. It's very, very smooth and yummy. It has 5 ingredients in it. That's it, 5. It smells so good. It's peppermint. And you can put this on your cheeks, your lips. You can use it on your hands. You can use it on your elbows. You can put it on your split ends. I've had so many people write in with a lot of different usages for this balm. It's kind of an all-inclusive balm, although we kind of use it for our lips and cheeks as well, because we do have a pink. So I do have it on. I just put it on my cheeks and my lips. This actually is a great little trick if you are married and you are you just washed your face and you want to go to bed and look kind of fresh and fun. You can leave this on your skin all night long. Just put on your cheeks, it gives you a little color, and put on your lips, it gives you a little color. This is our pink shimmer. Has a little bit of mica in it, so it's kind of shiny and shimmery, but this is BeverlyHillsBalm.com. We thank you also for supporting our show. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Cory. How are you?
I'm doing really well.
Good.
I love your shirt and
Thank
what
you.
it says, and I'll just read it out loud because we know you don't want to be on camera.
Can you read it out loud?
Hang on. Yes, I can. I came prepared. Ooh, these need to be clean. What? Question mark. I can't hear you over the sound of my
That's what I meant. You can't say that word.
I can't say that word.
Say awesomeness.
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 Okay. Awesomeness.
I can't hear you over the
Say
sound of my
awe.
awesomeness.
Say awe.
Awe.
Say some.
Some.
Awesome.
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 Awesomeness.
Don't pronounce the F. Is there an F in there? Yeah. No, there's no F.
Awesomeness.
A-W. Awesome.
I can't hear you over the sound of my awesomeness.
Awesome. Officeness.
Forget it.
Okay. Anyway. What's news with you?
What's news? I mean, I don't really have much news.
Yes, you do. You have a story you want to
I
tell me.
don't have any.
You have a story you want to tell me. And then I'll tell you my story.
I just got this thing on someone sent me this
Story?
a story. You know, there's so much going around and people send you stuff all the time. And I think, I don't know how much of the population is not even watching the news anymore. They kind of just rely on...
Ratings are so down across the board.
They rely on things that are sent to them and, of course, Liz Wheeler. And so I got this thing sent to me today on the banks.
Yeah.
A specific bank that...
Rhymes with.
I'm not going to say the article's out there. So, but I guess a lot of people have experienced a negative amount in their account, and I guess it was like 49 million. Some experienced, and some experienced
49 million in the negative?
in the negative, and
You know what
49
that is?
billion as well.
You know what that is, right?
I know.
It's the monthly service fees.
Right. It's not the monthly services, but
They add up.
it was some sort of glitch. So I just thought that to be interesting.
Couldn't
and I'm
it
sure there are a
glitch
lot of
into the
people.
Positive 49 million?
Well, that's what I was saying. You're just going to negative.
Okay, so now here's the question. Let's say the bank puts your account at like $10 million, and you go and transfer that money out to another bank, and then a month later they catch it. Is it your money or what happens?
Well, it was never your money. And why would you even take it out? That would be wrong. And that's like, no.
Ever play Monopoly?
Yes.
A bank error in your favor, collect $10?
It's a game.
Well, banks are a game.
That's funny. No, you don't do that. You
Well,
don't
first of
mess
all,
with them at all.
If they had $49 million in my account and I took the $49 million out, they would never get it back because they would never find me. I would be in Rio or wherever the places where there's no extradition treaty with the United States.
Let me tell you something right now.
That's where I'd be.
They can find you. They found Osama bin Laden in a hole
10
somewhere.
years.
10 years. Well, they could have found him before. I'm just saying.
I would erase my digital footprint. I would change my
tissue.
name.
I'm sorry. Anyway, so how are you? Because we have to keep these short now because we've had some feedback saying that our openings are too long.
Here's my story of the day. So I have this cup in my car in the door when I'm driving. It has a bunch of $1 bills in it. And every time I pass a homeless person, I open the window, hand them $1,
Yes.
and drive away. So I'm driving down to Santa Monica, Wilshire area, and I get off at Santa Monica Boulevard. And there's this lady with a stroller with like a 6 or 7-year-old kid.
Which, by the way, is filled with homeless now.
Yeah, no kidding. So she's standing at the off-ramp, which is where all the homeless people stand. And I rolled down my window, and I handed her $1. She said thank you and took it. And then my light was red, so she walked in front of my car. And then went to a gas station around the corner, and I watched her. And she got into her car and drove away. And her car was a Mercedes. So as I found out, she wasn't homeless. She was just walking her kid in a stroller, and I made the mistake of thinking she was homeless, which is bad on me. But she took my $1.
Yeah. So, you can see her face right now. Well, first of all, good for you. It doesn't matter whether she's homeless or not. You were giving, and that's what God knows, is that your heart was in the right place. So
why did she take the $1 if she was a very wealthy woman in Santa Monica driving a Mercedes?
Honestly,
she should have got offended and said, I'm not homeless, but then...
I don't know. I honestly don't know, but I think that was very kind of you.
We used to in college, and I grew up in Philadelphia, and we were in the city, we'd go to these big buildings, and a lot of the office, the workers and the men and the women would eat lunch outside. So my buddies and my frat friends and I, my frat brothers and I, we'd go out and we'd take $1 bills and we'd go up to somebody dressed in like a 3-piece suit eating his lunch, and we go, here you go, sir, and hand them $1 and see what they do. Some of them thought it was funny. Some of them got really mad. Like, I'm not homeless.
I mean, it's just could insult you or not. You just never know.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought she'd be insulted, but she took it like, thank you, like she'd done it 100 times.
Well, I mean, smart people out there.
Or maybe she panhandles and has enough to buy a Mercedes.
You never know. I mean, I have a whole other story on that, but I'm very excited about today's guest.
Really?
Yes. I'm a huge country music fan, and we have Hilary Williams.
Oh, very nice.
On today. She is the granddaughter of Hank Williams and the daughter of Hank Williams Jr., and she has quite the testimony.
Okay.
And
she a singer?
She is a singer-songwriter.
Good genes, good, what do you call it?
She really does. She's
pedigree, or what do they call it? Yeah.
Yes. She's considered to have the perfect pitch. She's a great, her debut album is...
Do you know what perfect pitch is? It's not the perfect pitch, it's perfect pitch.
Perfect pitch,
yes. You know what perfect pitch is? If you have perfect pitch, and I say, give me a B flat, and you go, ah, and I go to the piano and hit the B flat, and it's wrong, the piano's off tune. You're right. People who have perfect pitch, they have it, and they can hear it.
She does have it, and her debut album is called My Lucky Scars, and I'll let her tell the story as to why she named it that. But she had a near-death experience.
Oh my God!
And it's a miracle that she's here. So I'm excited to tell her story. The moment I met her, which was a couple years ago, I literally went to the car and I downloaded this album, and it's amazing how sometimes, and I'll talk to her about this, I'll get in the car and certain songs will come on at certain moments in my life. Right. And there's one called Angel, Take My Hand, and that one's very profound for me. So,
very cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to have her on.
And I have a little surprise for you. It's actually for me, but
I
have a new little...
But way to kill the surprise immediately upon telling me that you have a surprise. You tell me that it's actually for you.
I love Bob. I love Bob. I love Bob. I love Bob. I love Bob.
Stop
That's it. Thing. I'm doing all interview long.
Oh.
What was that, Cory?
I love Bob. I love Bob.
That was for Bob Zaney. Bob Zaney?
Do you hear Zaney?
I love Bob.
You edited that.
I love Bob.
That's the key of editing, you guys. Just so you know.
I like that one too.
I'm hot.
How you feeling, Cory?
I'm hot.
You're killing me. You are.
Ooh, I could do.
I love Bob.
Well, I feel a song coming on. Too much time on my hands.
I have
well, anyway.
I went out and bought these ice cube trays, and they say Bob on them. So it's like a big, thick Bob, and you make like hundreds of them. So I was with my hockey buddies, and I came in with a cooler, and a bunch of beer, and I put it in, and they started looking at the ice, and my friend goes, yeah, you have way too much discretionary income.
You do. You're hilarious.
All right, so
yes.
Hilary, son of Hank.
Daughter, actually.
Oh, daughter. Sorry, apologize.
Daughter
sorry, Hilary. Daughter of Hank.
Hank Williams Jr.
And
Hank Williams Jr.
Of Hank
yes.
Williams Sr.
Yes.
Did both Hank Jr. and Hank Sr. sing?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. I actually, yes. I mean, I'm huge fans of both of them. And they've, and she's actually performed at the Grand Ole Opry. I mean.
Your dream.
Yeah. Yes.
And everybody else's dream.
And everyone else's. So.
You know how to get to the Grand Ole Opry, right?
Yep.
How do you get there? We did this. How do you get to the Grand Ole Opry? Practice, practice, practice.
Yes.
You didn't know that.
It's funny because
everybody who's watching this video looked at your face and said she didn't know that.
No, it's just what I love about you and not so much is.
Love Bob. I love Bob.
Never mind. Stay tuned.
Wait, I want to hear what you love about me.
No.
Please.
Okay. Is that you
I do.
ask me, you ask me a question. It's as if you don't believe that I actually do. And so I just let you roll. Because then you go over there and you sit there and you go, you don't know what it is. Okay. You don't.
First of all,
and you do it all the time and it's hilarious.
I am very good. One of my superpowers is I'm very good at knowing when other people don't know the answer to the question. And those
You're
are the
actually
questions
wrong.
I always ask.
Okay, well, we'll see about
we'll see
that.
What happens.
We'll
okay.
see.
All right.
All right.
Stay tuned.
Uh-huh.
All right. See you in a minute.
Okay. Today's episode is brought to you by Aqua 9 Plus all-natural Ionic mineral alkaline drinking water. Aqua 9 Plus is one of the first and only all-natural Ionic mineral bottled drinking waters in the world. It has one of the highest and most stable pH of any bottled water on the market, with a pH ranging from 9.5 to 10. And I gotta tell you, besides tasting great, high alkaline water has so many positive health benefits. It increases your endurance, it deactivates pepsin in the body, which helps reduce the occurrences of upset stomachs. It neutralizes pesticides and fungicides on produce. It increases oxygen delivery throughout the body, and it helps reduce heartburn and indigestion. When you consider that coffee can have a pH as low as 2, which is very acidic, that pH can be neutralized by using high pH water. And a medical study has suggested that alkaline ionized water may have benefits for people with high blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol. You can go to aquanineplus.com. That's AQUANINEPLUS.com to find the nearest store that sells Aqua 9 Plus all-natural Ionic mineral alkaline drinking water. They also sell a home water system which produces purified Ionic mineral 9.5 plus pH drinking water naturally directly in your home without the use of electricity.
And you
wow,
can also
that's cool.
Yeah, and you can also find filling stations at local grocery stores. If you go to their website, aqua9plus.com, they'll tell you where the nearest filling station is near you. So you go there with a 5-gallon jug or a 2-gallon jug, pay your money, and it fills it up, and it lasts for a couple of weeks.
There's actually one at Air One. There's all the Air Ones. It's a great water. It's really great water. It actually tastes great. We are grateful to have them on the show and supporting us.
Yes.
But I also love their water.
No, their water tastes great.
Let's start the show.
No, I say that. Let's start the show.
Yes, let's, because I'm very excited to dive into today's guest.
Does
who is
Bob
Hilary
ever
Williams.
come on camera or no?
No, he doesn't.
Bob's not allowed on camera.
I'm like, I just want to see his face.
Maybe.
Okay, so here's the deal. When we started this podcast, we told the people I only had 3 cameras, and Cory said all cameras are on me.
That's
I said,
not
okay,
true.
that's fine. That's
It's
absolutely
actually
fine.
not true. In fact, I'll give up all 2 of my cameras today so you can be in this with Hilary.
You don't realize when you come into the studio, you pass a case with like 4 other cameras in them.
I know. Well, today I'm very excited about today's guest. I'm always excited, but Hilary I met several years ago. Hilary Williams is on the podcast / YouTube show. Yes, give it a clap, because honestly, this woman is amazing and has quite the testimony to share. And when I first met you, what was it, 2-3 years ago?
No, it was 4 or 5.
Well, 4 or 5 years ago. Okay, it was. You were in town, and we met through mutual friends, and we just connected instantly. Holy Spirit connection, right?
Yeah.
And you told me your story, and I had no idea I'd be sitting here today. And we're going to talk about your testimony. It's quite the testimony. And then also talk about your album, your your songs and what inspired you on each and every one of them. I love them all, and I have stories to tell you about them. But first, I'm getting stared down by Bob because we have
to God, I was just looking at you.
A word of the day.
I mean, you hadn't done it right, but I wasn't staring at you. I was just looking.
We have a word of the day.
All right, so we have a word of the day. This is a phobia. This is probably one of I hate to say it, but it's one of the easier ones. Try to guess what this phobia is.
Dixiephobia.
Dixiephobia. Dixie phobia.
Dixiephobia.
Someone that's afraid of the South.
Very good. Yes.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's fear. Actually, it's fear of the American South.
Oh
yes.
my gosh! Wow, Hilary, you are like one of two people that have actually gotten the phobia right. We don't live in fear here though, because the Bible says, "Do not fear" 365 times. So we're not supposed to fear anything.
You have a very interesting way of being negative but sounding positive.
I am positive.
That's her way of saying she doesn't like the fact that we do phobias.
It is.
You're right. We met in 2018. It was 3 years ago.
3 years ago, yeah, it was
in March. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was so excited because I'm just a huge fan of your family, and then I got to meet you, and I literally remember meeting you, leaving that restaurant, and I went to my car and I downloaded your whole album. Aww. And was like, okay, and let's talk about there's so much to talk about. First of all, welcome. Hello.
Thank you.
How are you? So good to see you. You look beautiful.
Too. Thank you.
As always.
I feel like it's kind of dark. Is it light?
No, it's light. Yeah,
okay.
It looks. Okay. Yes, I mean, immediately I want to go into your skincare because you do have the most beautiful skin.
Thank you.
But we'll get into that in a little bit. I remember thinking that when I first met you too in person. But I want to talk today about just your history. And obviously, there's a lot online about the accident that you went through in 2006, but how you turned that around for God's purpose. And it's an amazing story. It really, when you shared it with me, I just couldn't believe it. And so I just want to first talk a little bit about your history. You are the granddaughter of Hank Williams, the daughter of Hank Williams Jr., and you are Hilary Williams, the singer-songwriter. And you have an amazing story. So share with us, one of my questions was some of your favorite childhood memories growing up, because you have been in the presence of a lot of country music singers and songwriters and various musicians.
Yeah, it's crazy because people think that we had this like crazy childhood, but we didn't, because Dad kept his lifestyle like away from us. And he would take us fishing and hunting and like just wanted us to be normal kids, and have a normal upbringing and everything. But I got to be around Johnny Cash. Him and I share the same birthday, and he called me on my 10th birthday, which was cool. I didn't realize who he was at the time because I was young. But gosh, who else have I been around? I've met so many people. Well, Johnny Cash and June are my dad's godparents, or June was my dad's godmother, actually. So,
wow. Mm-hmm. Well, so yeah, I did actually read that your parents, which is really difficult to do when you're traveling and you're in the industry, that they did really keep a private life for you and managed to spend quality time with you, which is unusual with musicians' life. I mean, what did he travel? You said I think 300 days out of 365 days.
Yeah.
So the time he spent with you.
Well, my parents also separated when I was 4 years old, and they divorced when I was 8 years old. So we were with our mom a lot. She's an amazing Christian woman, prayer warrior, and she kept us very grounded as well. And then we were around Waylon Jennings and Jesse Coulter a lot. They were dear friends, and we'd go over to their house to go swimming and play with Shooter, and that was a lot of fun.
And it's funny because you don't know in the moment, like who these people are, and you're just having a great time because you're being a kid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you realize later.
Talked about it because Shooter didn't realize like my dad was famous, and I didn't realize his dad was a huge country music singer. So it's just funny.
And do you remember your grandpa, Hank Williams?
Well, no, I didn't know him because he died at 29 years old. My father was 3.5 when he passed. So I didn't know him, and my grandmother sadly passed before I was born as well, but I hear amazing stories about them.
And when you were younger, was singing and songwriting, has that always been in your heart? Or you do have the perfect pitch.
Oh,
I know this because I listen to you all the time in the car, and your voice is angelic. It really is.
Aw.
And for those of you listening, she has a album out, My Lucky Scars, and we're going to go into a lot of the songs that you wrote from that album. But you really do have the voice of an angel. And sometimes when I'm in the car and I'm going through something, there's a song of yours called Angel, Take My Hand. And it it brings me to tears because it always comes on at the right moment in my life. It's wild. So thank you for that. But when you were younger, did you sing into a hairbrush like I did?
Yeah, I probably did. I don't know. I've just always enjoyed singing. It always brought me a lot of comfort and peace, and I've just loved it.
And did your dad sing to you, Hank Williams Jr.?
Yeah, he would sing. He would play the guitar and sing to us, and that was always fun.
How old were you when you realized you had the perfect pitch?
Oh gosh. I probably didn't realize till I was a teenager, I would say. Yeah. And I started taking voice lessons around then too, just to help myself project a lot more because I wasn't loud enough. So I wanted to be able to, get my voice out there.
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. So you started singing as a teenager, and then tell me, I'm going to dive right into this story because it's pretty impactful, and anyone listening, it's just one of those moments in life that changed your life forever, in many ways, right? Mm-hmm. I always say to people, turn your pain into your purpose, and you certainly have done that. And in 2006, you and your sister Holly were driving somewhere. Tell me about that story.
Yeah, we were driving to our grandfather's funeral, our mom's dad's funeral, in Louisiana. And I just glanced down for a second to change my iPod. It was on Highway 61 in Mississippi. And when I glanced down for those 30 seconds, there were real deep ruts in the road and there was thick gravel on either side. And the car shifted into the gravel, and my sister screamed, and I freaked out, and I overcompensated and jerked the wheel. And we did a 360 in the middle of the highway. One of the wheels came off, and we slid across the highway, and we flipped in a field 4 times and landed like this. And I was hanging, and my sister was down here. And a physical therapist stopped, a woman and her husband, they were preachers, and a truck driver. Well, he was the first one that stopped. And I kept wanting to fall asleep, and he was rubbing my hand and my arm and saying, honey, you got to stay awake. You got to stay awake. And they were wanting to pull me out of the car, and the physical therapist said, no, don't pull her out because you could kill her. And we called, they called 911, and it took 45 minutes for the life flight to get there in the ambulance. And they said I shouldn't have lived there for 20 minutes. I lost 6 pints of blood.
I read that you had a broken legs, pelvis, collarbone, ribs, bruised lungs, ruptured colon. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
You've had over 30 surgeries. Your sister was badly injured.
Mm-hmm.
But in that moment, and correct me if I'm wrong, I read a lot about you. You said you got to flip the car back over, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Because the seatbelt, was really tight and, pressing really hard on me. And I said, y'all have got to push the car over. I can't breathe. And they said, we can't do it. I'm like, just try. And I had lost my vision. I couldn't see anything. And I thought it was permanent, but they said it's just because I had lost so much blood. So they pushed the car back over, and I know that there were angels there because the car just came slowly to the ground. You would think it would, just land really hard. But
wow. Mm-hmm. And so tell me then from that point on what you remember, because I know that you ended up staying. You were in a wheelchair for 2.5 years. You've had over 30 surgeries. Mm-hmm. Tell me in that moment, and there's a song about this, where you felt an angel take your hand.
Yes. Well, they used the jaws of life on the car and pulled Holly and I out. And when I was on the stretcher, it felt like 1,000 pounds of brick on top of my chest, and I couldn't breathe. And they said my blood pressure was 55 over nothing. And then I just felt this like total peace, and this faceless angel came to take my hand, hence the song. And we went up to heaven, and I saw my grandparents, Hank and Audrey, and I saw Merle Kilgore, who was a songwriter and my dad's manager for 60 plus years. And I saw Johnny Cash and June, sorry. And it was just so much joy and peace and just absolutely incredible. And I remember I was really happy there, but my grandparents just gave me a big hug and like held me, and then they turned around and I came right back. So I felt like God and them were saying, nope, it's not your time yet. And then the second surgery, I got a blood clot and died again and came back.
The second day?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And when you died again, did you remember anything about that experience?
No, I don't remember anything. But they told my parents I had passed again and came back.
I mean, that's incredible. You hear stories about people taking trips, i.e. Colton Burpo, and, went in that movie, Heaven is for Real. He had a trip. And there's a lot of people. And it's interesting because there's a book where they interviewed 1,000 people that had taken near-death experience or a trip to heaven, and not one of them wanted to come back.
Yeah.
So it must be this overwhelming peace and, joy that and you've experienced that.
And the colors was beautiful, and the music and the flowers. And like, I saw this mansion that it looked like gold and diamonds icing mixed together. It was like moving. Like everything's just like alive.
Right. And so it's a real thing, and you experienced it. Not many people get to experience that, but God knew, I believe. I'm just speculating based on what I've read and how I know you. He knew, like you said, that your job wasn't finished here yet, and that you had lives to change, and hopefully even one listening today will hear your story and be inspired. And hear your music, and in these songs, it's painful sometimes to relive it. And I can't remember who it was, but someone came in 30 days after you were in the hospital and said, you need to start writing about this, right?
Oh yeah. Well, that was probably about 6 months after the car accident, and I was recovering at home. And my girlfriend said, you need to be writing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not in the mood, because I still couldn't walk and I was on painkillers and just dizzy. And she was like, no, you need to be creative. And I'm so glad that she, was encouraging me to do that.
And so your first song that you wrote from this experience, was that Angel Take My Hand, or was it?
No, the first song was
Sign of Life.
Sign of Life.
Sign of Life. Yeah, that's a great song.
Yeah.
And you also have a memoir called Sign of Life.
Yes.
Correct. Right. So tell me about that moment of writing that song, Sign of Life.
I was still in the hospital bed at my mom's house recovering, and using a walker at that time. And my friend Blue Sanders came over, and it just like fell out in like 10 minutes. He just started playing this beautiful melody, and, I was telling him my story, and it just like came together really quickly.
Wow. 10 minutes. I mean, that's incredible. It takes me forever to write a song. But I love how you've turned your pain into your purpose. Sorry, I'm hitting the table here and I'm getting a note.
I heard that my grandfather...
Why do I give you the notes? I could just tell you if you're going to say you're getting a note.
Stop. She's talking. Don't talk over Hilary.
By the way, Hilary, the note says don't talk over her. It cuts out her audio.
No, I heard that my grandfather, he wrote songs in 5 minutes, and he said, if you can't write a song in 5 minutes, it's not worth anything. But I mean, it takes me a lot longer sometimes.
Well, that's true. I mean, a lot of them are,
But most of the very popular songs have been written in 8 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. Bob's a musician as well. He
cool.
sings, he's really, go ahead, you can push the button now. No, I love Bob.
Oh, that one? No, that comes in when you're not ready for it.
Well, I'm just so impressed with you, Hilary, because you come from a long line of musicians and songwriters, and you have a gift, and you've you've used that gift for God, and you literally said you say it on your website, which is HilaryWilliams.me, and it's a great website, and it's got all of your songs and your music. But you say that if it wasn't for God, you wouldn't be here, and the amazing doctors that came to your aid.
Yeah.
So I really feel like, there's someone out there that's just going to hear your music and be blessed by it. But I would love to know a lot more about you, because we do talk, and every now and then I'll call you to see how you're doing, or vice versa. And we share prayer requests, which is, iron sharpens iron, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I'm always so grateful.
I had that T-shirt on yesterday. It said "Iron sharpens iron."
Oh, really?
Yes.
It's true, though.
It is.
It's really true. And there are people that you can just call and say, hey, can you pray about this? And you have certainly been one of those. And even though I've only known you for a short time, I'm grateful. Thank you.
Me too. Thank you.
I would love to know, because it is probably everyone's dream to play at the Grand Ole Opry. And you played there. You performed there.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what that was like, and who called you for that day? What was that like?
It was amazing so I made my debut June 15th, 2018, and my grandfather made his debut that same week. So that was really special. And they just called me because my album had come out and they wanted me to, perform on there. And it was just so awesome standing in the circle where my grandfather had stood and so many others. And I just had chills and my legs were shaking so bad on stage. I'm like, Lord, please don't let me pass out on the stage.
Right. Didn't you sing a song of his?
Yeah, I sang House of Gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Was it a packed house?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was sold out. Yeah.
That's amazing. What a blessing. And so, okay, transitioning into the song Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've said who that song's about. Was that about someone in general? Because that song is a relationship. It's perfect the way that you talk about how love is, right?
I didn't write that song. That's a song I wish I had written, but two friends of mine wrote that song and I could just easily relate to it. They're like, oh my gosh, you should cut this. It's like perfect for your voice and everything. It's just so relatable, It
really is a relatable song. You have to get this album and just to listen to this song in general. We only fight so we can make up.
Yeah.
Hello. That's
and
like
I made a music
99%.
video for it too. It's on YouTube.
Yes. Maybe we can play that, Bob. We can get a piece of that and play that.
If we don't get a content strike, sure.
I know. We love to interject as much as we can about our artists, but sometimes they,
Yeah, CMT debuted my video and that was really awesome.
Yeah. And so other than your family, and I know that you're influenced greatly by Sheryl Crow, who would be some of your other artists that you're listening to or that influence you now?
Well, it's crazy. Like I always loved the Smashing Pumpkins and Billy Corgan, and then we ended up meeting through a mutual friend 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I just love their like dreamy sounds and stuff. And now me and him and our friend Sierra Swan, we're doing a secret project together. They'll probably come out next year.
Ooh, are we the first to did we hear it here first?
Yeah.
Well, we put out a little like tidbit last week, but they were all just here. We were working in the studio. So that was super fun. It'll be like Americana Bluegrass Roots album.
Oh, how fun. Is that what you were in the studio last week then? Because we were going to, yeah. Oh, that's cool. Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. And are you guys recording those sessions?
Yes.
I'm like video recording them?
Yeah, we're going to put it together like a little documentary. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I love it, Hilary.
I love Stevie Nicks, Bonnie Raitt.
I love Stevie Nicks.
There's just so many people I love.
And so
Joni Mitchell is a big influence.
Oh, Joni Mitchell's great. Yeah. That's like, I mean, you're young. That's like actually, that's your era, Bob.
I'm not that young.
Yes, you are. You guys have been referred to as the country Kennedys.
Yes.
Because of family trauma, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that something, what does that entail? What does that mean?
we've just had major trauma. I mean, my grandfather dying at 29. My dad fell off a mountain at 26 years old.
Wow.
He shouldn't have lived. It's a miracle he lived. Then Holly and I had our wreck, and then our sister tragically died last year at 27. I don't know.
Sorry.
A lot of
It's
tragedy.
a lot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who named the album My Lucky Scars? You?
Well, my producer, I was telling him my story and everything, and I was like, I don't know what to name it. And he was like, you should call it My Lucky Scars. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love that.
It's so perfect.
I was like, that's genius.
It is genius.
Mm-hmm.
It is, because a lot of these songs were born from this accident.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I know that, I've always said, and I keep saying this, if you can turn your pain into your purpose, it's worth the pain.
Yes.
And I know you and I have talked about that, and it's you've done that.
Yeah.
So,
and scars are God's saving grace.
they are. And you have had 30 surgeries from this accident.
Mm-hmm.
And how are you feeling today? And you feel like you've come through it and you're on the other side, other than the knees shaking at Grand Old Opry?
Yeah, I mean, I have to, do Pilates and get massages. I always have to stay on top of my health and everything. Or if it's really cold outside, I really feel it and stuff. But no, I'm doing really well overall.
And her mom, I read, sang backup to a song that I used to sing all the time in my hairbrush. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys.
Yeah.
That is such a cool fun fact about you. When I read that, I was like, oh, I remember that song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't planned. She was with my dad at the studio, and they were hanging out with Waylon and Willie, and one of them said, we need a backup singer. My dad said, Becky can do it. And so she just did some oohs and ahs, and she's like, I didn't know it was going to be an iconic song one day.
Right? And that's the thing, is you never know.
Mm-hmm.
David Foster, I know David Foster, he's, you know who he is. He's a big music producer. And he always says, there are 3 things that you need to have a hit song. It's the song, and it's the song. That's what he says. It's got to be the song, right? What inspires you, other than your life history and your accident? What is inspiring you now to write?
I don't know. It just hits me at different times.
Will you pull over to the side of the road and just start in your voice recorder or writing stuff down? Do you have a notebook?
Things will hit me in the shower, the bathtub. When I'm really still and quiet is when it really starts channeling in, when I'm relaxing. Something hit me the other day, and I was in my bathtub, and I was like, oh my gosh, I got to remember this. So I grabbed my phone and sang it into my voice memo. So I won't forget.
That's the great thing about that, though. Nowadays, it's on your iPhone, and you can just.
And sometimes, I'll sing something. I'm like, oh, I'll remember it, and then I don't. I'm like, oh, I wish I had, sang that into my phone.
And that's the thing. You have to put it down, especially when you get to be my age. It's if I don't, it literally right out.
Or I video myself just to have, something marking it.
I was dreaming, and I had a great idea for a little segment of a skit or part of a scene. And I said, oh my God, I got to write this down. I got to write this down. So I wrote it down, the whole script out, 3 pages of it. And then I woke up again. I had written it out in my dream, and I woke up again. And 2 seconds later, I forgot it all.
Really?
Yeah, I was so upset.
That happens to me. I'll have these amazing songs in my dream. And then when I wake up, I don't remember them. So frustrating.
Right. You are quoted as saying women who want to be country artists are better off doing it themselves. Mm-hmm. Loved that. Tell me why you say that.
Yeah, because there's this whole machine here in Nashville and other places too, but they just want you to sing certain songs or sing a certain way and look a certain way, and you're just a manufactured product, And I just think you need to follow your own intuition and your own North Star.
I love that.
That way,
you're in Nashville.
Yes.
You know, I'm thinking of moving to Nashville.
You should.
I know a lot of people that
Everyone
are
else
moving there.
is.
You and half the country.
I know, but like I just don't know what part to go to. But I know that there's still. Somebody told me the other day that there's a Taco Bell that literally has live music in it in Nashville.
Oh yeah, I haven't been to it yet. They just opened it downtown on Broadway.
Oh, you heard about it then?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, tell me where on your website. I was looking for tour dates because I was going to show up and just surprise you. Not that you'd be like, oh, wait, why is she here? But I was. And I didn't see any soon. Is that because of COVID? Have you been able to perform much?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
have you been able to perform at all since COVID?
A little bit. I did a private event 2 weeks ago here in Nashville. Yeah.
Okay. And then is there any tour dates coming up?
It's all in the works right now. Planning it.
We should link her up with the Newsboys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
My dear friends, the Newsboys. They're already out on tour. They're like,
oh nice.
But you'd be amazing with them.
You were supposed to introduce her to Anita Pointer.
I did.
Oh, you
did? Did you ever meet Anita?
No. Mm-mm.
I did. I gave Roger the information, so I did my part because you two, that would be a great duo. Anita Pointer and yourself.
That. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me then what your hobbies are when you're not singing and songwriting. What do you do there in Nashville?
I'm a big foodie. Like I love to go eat at restaurants, like really
What's your favorite one there? I'm writing this down.
Oh gosh, there's so many. Well, there's a new one that just opened called Eddie V's. It's like really awesome seafood.
If you Nashville proper?
Yes, it's downtown, like in this new area called 5th and Broadway with all these new restaurants and stores.
And everything's opened up now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
We are full capacity. We opened up full capacity May 14th.
Wow. Okay.
So we're wide open now. Yeah.
And you have a home church there you go to in Nashville?
Yeah, it's called Journey Church. I really like it because it's small and intimate. I'm not into the massive big churches.
Did you ever sing on the worship team in the choir?
No.
No. Oh.
I like to watch the people, but no, I haven't done that.
Tell me how your faith has impacted you. Aside from this accident, prior to the accident, you were raised a Christian.
Yeah.
And with God, but I know for myself, I was too, but I didn't really understand the level of Christianity. I always saw it as a religion instead of a relationship.
Yeah.
And now I see it as a relationship, right?
Yeah.
How has it impacted you?
No, I feel the same way. Now I see it as a relationship. I mean, there were years I didn't go to church at all because my mom was in Christ Church choir growing up, and I got really burned out on church. We had to sit there for 3 services on Sunday and then go Wednesday night. And so I was just churched out. I'd had enough. And but you don't have to go to church to be a Christian. I mean, to me, it's just all about having a relationship with Jesus. So, yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. I looked at it as a religion, and you don't have to like set aside a certain time to pray or anything. Like I can just be walking down the street and talking to God or anywhere, you know?
I do know. People sometimes probably think I am crazy because I'll be in my car and I'm talking to God or I'm praying or I think that's the biggest misconception is thinking that there's a time or you can only see God at church in those 4 walls and that's not the case at all. I've learned that over the years. I think the greatest gift our family can give us is, to establish that relationship.
Yeah.
But then it's up to us to maintain it. Mm-hmm. So I feel like, you and I identify on that same level because when you're a kid, you go to church and you wake up and you get your Sunday best on, but then you realize, wait, I can wake up in the morning and God's right here, right now.
Yeah.
And I can pray right here, right now, anytime, any place.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can write a song about it, which I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's great to know. Tell me, if you could play and perform with anyone, who it would be.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. I just love Stevie Nicks' voice. I really like her. And I love Lauren Daigle too. I love her music.
Oh, you guys would complement each other really well. Yes.
I love her. I love Adele. I don't know. I'm going blank. I like those three women.
Those are some great combos, I'd say.
Mhm.
Now you're working on a new album. You have a surprise thing you're working on.
Yeah.
But are you working on a new album in general for you?
No, not for me right now. No, I'm just writing and, focusing on that.
You pick, I wrote a song and recorded it and released it. And I used to be in a band. I know, silly. But how do you pick your producers? That's an interesting thing, because some people will go with the same producer over and over, and then you'll see some people write and do a great album, and then they'll go with another producer the next time. How do you?
Well, I used two different producers on my record. The first guy, John Wood, I met through a friend, and we just hit it off. And then Lincoln Parrish, he was in Cage the Elephant. I met him through a friend, and we hit it off. I guess it's just like if you vibe with the person, and you like what they do.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Kevin Montgomery?
Mm-mm.
Hey, they'd be kind of a good duo, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's a friend of mine. I'm gonna introduce you to him too.
Okay.
Hilary, tell me what your favorite movie is.
Oh, my favorite movie. That's a hard one. I do love The Notebook.
Yes, I just watched that for like the 17,000th time.
Yes.
I mean, who doesn't? That movie is. We all want a Noah, right?
Yeah.
Is there a Noah in your life?
No, I wish there was.
Well, there's gonna be. There's gonna be. No, that's a great movie.
Yeah.
You know The Notebook?
Never seen it.
Are you kidding?
I'm a guy.
You've never seen The Notebook?
I've never seen The Notebook.
Even guys love that movie.
How many times have you watched Princess Bride?
1,000.
Okay. How many times have you watched Monty Python?
I've seen Monty Python maybe 4 times.
Oh, I've seen it about 1,000 times.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Princess Bride is my Notebook.
Princess Bride's good, but Notebook is great. That's great. Have you ever done music for movies?
I haven't, but people say my music would be perfect for movies, and
It really would.
It's been pitched for movies and TV shows. Nothing's happened yet, but hopefully soon.
What happened during COVID for you when it first shut down? Did you think we'd be here, or did you think it would open in 2 weeks after we flattened the curve?
Oh, I thought it'd open in 2 weeks. I had no idea it was going to last this long.
I know, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. How is it there in Nashville
What
now?
did you think?
I really thought that it was just going to be 2 weeks, and I'm going to I'll say this. I haven't said this on the air. I am. I have to be careful because we've already been spanked for saying too much. But I'm just sad that it's come to this, and that people haven't stood up for this sooner. But having said that, I digressed. It's good to be safe. I think I've always been safe. I've always been a germaphobe, but I also I'm not sure what's going on. Having said that, I'm excited for life.
Are y'all open in California, or is it still kind of locked down a little bit?
It's kind of, it's up to each store's discretion, and some of them say no masks, some of them still implement wearing masks. It's getting better and better every day, but...
They got rid of the mask mandate on June 15th, but they left it up to the businesses.
They left it up to the businesses, so...
Yeah,
With
that's
a strong
here
little,
too.
a little
Yeah,
nudge and a
there.
wink, and
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm excited for life to open back up and to go to concerts and to, to live life. I think that's important, and I think we've kind of lost sight of it. You know, I feel like a lot of people watch the news and they live in fear. And like I said earlier in this, I don't think we're supposed to live in fear. You know, God says it 365 times, which is once every day, right? Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid.
That was so hard on me, missing live music. I really grieved over that because I just love performing and going to concerts. And so that was very difficult.
But it is hard. It's especially when you're a musician, because you get a level of, I don't know, it's almost like a serotonin release. You know, it's like a natural serotonin release. I'll say high for the lack of a better term because I don't get high, but you know what I mean. Yeah. And do you know the Swan brothers?
I've heard of them.
Zach and Colton Swan. They're there in Mount Juliet. I don't know how far that is from you, but they were like The Voice, winners of The Voice.
It's okay. Yeah.
There's a lot of peeps that could get together there. Do you guys have a local, what is it called? The Bluebird? The Bluebird, yes.
It's still closed, sadly, because it's so small. I don't know when they're opening back up, but they've been closed for over a year.
Is there any place there to go karaoke?
Yes, Santa's Pub.
Okay,
it's a trailer. And it's the number one dive bar in America. It's decorated like Christmas all the time. I'm friends with Santa and his wife. They're lovely people, and you sing karaoke in there.
Okay, Hilary, I'm coming there, and I'm going to get a place to stay, but then I'm going to hunt you down, and we're going to go sing karaoke. I'll sing your backup. Okay. Because I'm not even going to attempt to attack the perfect pitch, because I know you can sing. But I love karaoke. I have 6, Yeah, that was another thing. I missed karaoke. Because his bar was closed for a year. He just opened back up April 15th. In downtown Nashville proper?
No, he's near me. I don't know what area you call that, but it's not downtown.
Down Santa's Pub. For those of you who are close to Santa's Pub, is he up and running right now?
Yep.
Bob, we have to take a road trip.
Let's do it.
We'll go grab Hilary.
4 p.m. to 3 a.m. every day.
No way. And is he getting a lot of people during this time?
Oh, yeah. It's like COVID never happened in Nashville now.
Yeah. Well, that's how it should be around the world. But, you know, we're hoping that there'll be some sort of semblance, you know.
I'm excited. My dad's playing July 4th in Natchez, Mississippi. So that'll be like my first huge concert to go to.
He's playing in where?
Natchez, Mississippi.
Natchez. That'll be a great
sister and her husband just moved there and bought a house. So yeah, it'll be great.
And are you going to get up and sing at that?
Probably. We usually sing Family Tradition with him at the end.
Oh, you do? And Holly sings as well, right?
Yeah. She's put out 3 albums.
And I read at one point they wanted you, like you said, they wanted you guys to sing together. But that was just not something. You guys had your own visions and your own, art going on.
I mean, maybe one day, but yeah, we just have our own thing we want to do.
How many videos have you made from that album from My Lucky Scars?
Just one. Just crazy. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, I honestly can't. It is because you don't have a near-death experience like that, and then take a trip to heaven, and it not be impactful for others. We all have things that we go through in life, hard times, really hard times, that we can either sit on and it eats us up inside or whatever, or we can share them with others, and sometimes it's painful to relive it. But then there's always that one person that it's going to affect, and you have certainly done that.
People that I've lost, in the past year, it just gives me a lot of peace because I know that they're in an amazing place and they're happy, and I have
because you've been there
and friends. So I'm glad I can give people hope.
It's true, and that as I get older, all of these these cliches. They mean something like hope deferred makes the heart sick, right? And when you can give someone hope, or someone can turn on your song, or it'll literally, Angel Take My Hand has popped in my car at the most divine moments where I'll just be like praying, and then it'll pop on my phone and it'll come up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, really? But that's
awesome.
It is. It's a Holy Spirit moment. And, I'll tell you this story, this really quickly. When Ariana, my daughter, she's 22 now, but when she was 5, she would sleep next to me. It was just her and I. And she was completely asleep. And I reached out to God. I remember just reaching out, and I was crying. I was in a really rough spot. It was like 1:30 in the morning, and I was just sad. And I was like, Lord, if you're real, then I would like you to grab my hand. I would just like you to grab my hand. And I'm having this conversation with him, and I literally look over, and Ariana, my daughter, I'm not kidding, reaching up her hand. She's completely asleep, and she's reaching up her hand, and she reaches and she grabs.
Oh,
and
wow.
I thought, I know. And I thought, I believe God did that for a reason, because he probably would have thought, I thought if he grabbed mine, I would have said, that's the air conditioning or something. I would have made excuse. But I got the visual on it, and I got to see. And so that song that you wrote, Angel Take My Hand, it's huge for me, because I know God does take our hand, Hilary, and he will guide us, right, and direct our path. And, he obviously did that with you, that moment, which was life or death, really. You died twice in that car accident, right?
Yeah. And then if my dad had lived from his mountain fall, my sister and I wouldn't be here, or the rest of the kids. So, yeah, he has
divine appointment
as well.
So your dad, just to touch on that for a second, he at 29 years old, he was climbing the top of a mountain and he fell off the mountain.
26. He was like walking with his friend on Ajax Mountain in Montana, and he thought it was like packed down with snow, and it wasn't. And he just fell and went head first and fell 500 feet down a mountain and hit a boulder, and his eyes came out, his brains, his teeth. It took 3 hours for help to get there. He had 18 surgeries. He's always like, honey, you beat me in surgery.
What? Wow.
Well, I hope your family has a good health plan.
No, that's like, there is generational stuff, right? And we do. I mean, every woman in my family's been divorced, and so have I. I'm just saying, like, it does happen, but you have lived to tell, and you guys have both used your talent, which is irrevocable, right? The Bible says he'll give you gifts, and it's irrevocable. You've used it to glorify God. Which is pretty cool. I really admire that. Prior to that moment in 2006 when you had that accident, was there any other moments that you had felt his presence so profoundly?
Yeah, when I was 8 years old, he came to visit me. My parents had just gotten divorced, and I had just been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And I guess I was just, really distraught over everything. And Jesus came to visit me in the middle of the night, and he was just this massive figure in this bright shining light. And he had his arms wide open, and he just picked me up like a baby and held me and like rocked me and said something like, I'm always going to take care of you, and then put me back down. And,
and he has.
Yes.
And he has. Oh my gosh.
And also when I got diabetes, they said that if we had waited one more day, I could have been in a coma or dead, because my blood sugar was 800.
What?
Which is really, really high. And I woke up one morning and I was like, Mom, I'm tired. Like, I can't walk. And she's like, well, you don't have a fever, but I'll take you to the doctor. And they checked my blood sugar, and it was 800.
Wow. Wow. And so you have that's another thing you had to deal with then too, on top of getting in that accident. I mean, that's they have to keep that regulated for you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
during all of those surgeries.
Yeah, I was already a skinny kid, and I had lost 20 pounds in 2 weeks, and so something definitely wasn't right.
Wow, you have all of these different things that people can identify with, and that you help other people with. You know, that's my grandpa had diabetes, so I know a lot about it, and it's a tough thing to monitor, but it seems like you've got it under control.
Yeah, that was another thing. Diabetes almost killed me in the accident too, because all the trauma in my body, it kept my blood sugar really high, and they had me on an insulin drip, but my blood sugar ran 500 every single day for a week, and I went into ketoacidosis. So that was another thing. Almost
it really is a miracle that you're here.
Yeah, even today I was just like, and there's other things that have happened to me, and I'm like, I just can't believe like I'm still living.
Blessing you are. I remember the first time I met you, it was at a restaurant in Thousand Oaks, and I just like saw your face, and you just lit up like the Holy Spirit does.
Aww.
And I was like, who's that beautiful girl? And then we talked, and you know, God has obviously anointed you and appointed you for a time as this to share your story, to encourage others, and to, you know, obviously write and record beautiful music. So I'm going to transition to 1 second because I'm obsessed with your skin.
Okay.
I've seen you in person, and I think I actually mentioned to you in the moment. I was like, what do you do for your skin? You have the most flawless skin. You don't even have a pore.
Right now.
No, it's not. But do you have like a special routine? I just wonder. Or is it just a gift?
There's really good skin. I get it from my dad's side. Like my great aunts, they have the most stunning, gorgeous skin. So I'm like, and my mom's always like, you have your dad's skin. I don't know. They just have like good genes. But I just drink a lot of alkaline water. And then there's this stuff I buy at Ulta. It's by Tula Skincare, and it's called Signature Glow, and it has probiotics in it. And you put it on like after you put your makeup on. I just discovered this like 6 months ago, but it just makes your skin like shimmer.
Oh, it is. I've seen you.
That's with that. I use, what is the moisturizer I use? I'm going blank. I'll have to text you the info.
Gosh, please.
On some other stuff. And then I love Gucci Westman. I use her highlighters. I really like those.
And then you've probably stayed out of the sun.
Yes. Well, I did. I had a bad burn in Mexico 2 years ago, and I had skin cancer. I had melanoma on my arm, but that got cut out and taken care of, thankfully. It was called.
My goodness.
I hadn't been to the dermatologist in 5 years, and I saw a black mole, and I'm like, that's really odd. So I'm glad I got it looked at.
Do you have moments? I'm all over the place because I have so many things to ask you, but do you have moments that when you're driving or whatever, that you recall that accident and the trauma, or is it pretty much you've gotten through it? And
I have moments, and I just finished 100 sessions of neurofeedback. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I actually is at that MDR, that rapid eye movement, where it helps get rid of trauma.
It's not that, but it's similar. It helps get rid of trauma. They attach these sensors to your head and to your brain, and it rebalances your brain waves.
Wow.
And mine was all jacked up from the car accident.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah,
and
I felt like I couldn't shut my brain off. And they said, did you have a bad concussion, or were you in a car accident? And I was like, oh, yeah, a bad car accident. It showed up in my brain map.
And then it's now better. You can see it that it's.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
What is it called? It's called
Neurofeedback. About 6 years after the accident, I was going into these horrible panic attacks, and I would freak out driving on the interstate. So I avoided the interstate for like 5 years. And then I met this woman that owns the neurofeedback place here. And she was like, oh, honey, you need like 40 or 60 sessions. And it was a godsend that I met her. Now I just feel like I have my life back, and I can think normally. And
that's amazing. That's amazing. And I think, when you have something so impactful like that, it does jar I mean, every organ in your body is affected by it, right? Especially your brain.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool that they can kind of recalibrate it, if you will.
Yeah. Like when I first started, my brain was all red up here, my frontal lobe. They said, do you feel like you can't shut your brain off? And I said, yeah. So they said it was lit up like New York City. Now it's green, and your brain's supposed to be green.
Ooh. I might need to go. I'm just going to make a whole month trip. I won't bother you while I'm in Nashville, but I'm going to definitely, like, that's something I would love to check out just because, everybody has
a year
trauma.
and a half, but it's, it's worth it.
How long are the sessions for?
You buy a package of 20. So like I did 20 sessions, and they're 30 minutes long.
30 minutes. So can you walk us through just like what that looks like? Is it just hooking your brain up to
They do a brain map first to see what's going on, and then that tells them where to place the sensors on your brain to treat the areas. And then they turn the lights off. You lay back in a chair. They, connect you to the sensors and everything, and you just listen to like musical tones. And I usually fell asleep, and it's 30 minutes long, and it's just very
Oh, sounds very therapeutic, and it sounds like it definitely would be something, if you have
it's a drug-free solution of treating what's going on in your brain,
which is key because every single solitary drug is going to give you some sort of a side effect, but this won't. So that's great. I love it. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Well, Hilary,
I feel like I'm like all over the place.
I am. I'm actually all over the place because I have so much to just talk to you about, and I know that you've talked a lot about this, your accident and your testimony, which is I wanted to talk about, but it's just me. I'm all over the place with you because I only have an hour with you, and I wanted to get so much information. Your album, My Lucky Scars, there's 12 songs on it. A memoir called Sign of Life, which you wrote a song called Sign of Life as well. I think every single solitary song on there is a hit.
Thank you.
Download that. It's on iTunes and is it Spotify or just
iTunes?
iTunes?
It's on every digital platform that's out there. Amazon.
Or you can go to hillarywilliams.me and find out all your info. We have 3 questions that we like to end on.
Okay.
The first one is 3 words that describe yourself.
Oh gosh. Do y'all ask that for everyone?
Everyone, yep.
Let's see. Going, fun, and
Those are all 3 very accurate, I would say. Okay, so now we have this little test called the Rorschach Test. I don't really like it.
We didn't invent it, right? Somebody else invented it?
We didn't invent it.
You know who invented it?
Who? Rorschach.
There you go. What's his first name?
Roar.
Is he Russian?
It was
Yes.
Stanley Rorschach.
Oh, Stanley Rorschach. Well, it's an ink blot test.
Okay.
And they're just weird figures, but it's like whatever you see that comes to mind, there's no right or wrong. Everyone has done it from who to who. So, all right, ready?
You couldn't think of any other guest on the show.
I didn't want to drop names.
Really?
I mean Frank Stallone, Anita Pointer, But Hilary's, we got Hilary Williams here. I'm like, first of all, like just so grateful to have you here today. So here we go.
Wait, what am I supposed to do?
I love you. You just, whatever comes
say
to
the
mind.
first thing that comes to your mind what do you see in the picture? It's like looking at clouds.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Y'all didn't say what I was supposed to do. It kind of looks like 2 ballerinas dancing.
Yes. Okay. I can kind of see them through the back.
Children playing.
Yeah. Every time I lift this, I see little elephants.
Oh, yes.
I don't know why. I do.
That's that. Well, that definitely looks like elephants.
Yeah.
Or
I
little
like this
lions, the other one. Oh my God. It kind of looks like Willy Wonka in the middle.
Oh yeah.
Hat, top hat.
Yes. See, we always get these fun things. What's the last one?
I see like little birds.
Yeah, some people say a fox. Foxy.
Fox.
My last question is a fun one. Who is your celebrity crush?
Oh gosh. I probably shouldn't say, but I've always loved Johnny Depp.
Oh yeah.
He just does it for me.
I know. I've said this
He's really
before.
cool. Mm-hmm.
He is really cool. And back in the day, when he was on 21 Jump Street, we used to kind of hang out with him and at the Viper Room, all of our friends.
Oh, nice.
And he would take care of all of his employees and he would never tell anybody about it. You just knew he was so kind and so generous and such a good human.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a good choice. He's a good
I've heard nothing but wonderful things about him. So
yeah.
I've met so many people. I'm sure eventually I'll meet him one day. I got to meet Bono. That was awesome 3 years ago and hang out with him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be cool. But I feel a duet coming along with you and Johnny. Johnny sings. He's in a band.
I know, the Hollywood Vampires.
Yes. Have you ever seen him perform?
I didn't get to meet him, but I saw them perform 5 years ago in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, Hilary, I just love you so much. I can't thank you enough for this hour today of your time. And I'm definitely going to reach out to you when we go to Nashville. Bob and I are going to take this show on the road.
Thank you.
So I really have said this now 2 or 3 times in this interview, but just I highly recommend downloading this. I say album, but it's not. It's on a streaming platform now, Albums are...
when you group songs together, they still call them albums.
Okay, so download My Lucky Scars. My Lucky Scars. And we're going to put, if we can, the cover of that out on this.
It's been on the screen like 4 times. You
Oh,
didn't
it's
see
been
it?
on the screen. Yay. We'll superimpose that.
It's weird because I had like a little bit of survivor's guilt after my sister died, or she's really my half sister, but I called her my sister because she was 27 when she passed. I was 27, when our wreck happened. Our accidents were like very similar. So I had and she has 2 little kids and a husband she left behind and everything. But I wouldn't wanted her to live if she was going to be a vegetable or, something like that. So.
Yeah. And that's just happened last year. So that's still very close. Was that around the same area that you had gotten into an
June
accident?
13th last year. No, hers happened in Paris, Tennessee, where our dad lives and where her and her husband lived. It was just right down from the house. And they were pulling dad's boat and the boat jackknifed and they went across the median and flipped 10 or 11 times and went down in a ravine. But thank God her husband lived. He only had some broken ribs so he can, take care of the kids.
Yeah. And tell me her name. She was your younger sister?
Yeah, Katie Williams.
Katie Williams.
My dad remarried and had 2 more kids. But it was really awesome. She was a Christian, had a strong faith. In the last year of her life, she started this little T-shirt company, and she would put Bible verses on T-shirts and sweatshirts and stuff.
What was it called?
Weston Jane, after her
Weston
kid.
Jane.
Her daughter's name is Audrey Jane, and her son's name is Bo Weston, and she just used the middle names and combined them together.
Weston Jane. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, she's certainly with your grandparents and John and June Cash celebrating, right, in the heavens, shining down.
Yeah.
So we know firsthand, that there is a heaven. You've been there, you've seen it, which has to give you some comfort. I can't even imagine.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate you sharing your story today and your testimony. And if there's just one person out there that can gain something from it, we love you for sharing it. It's not always easy, but we are grateful. And do you have a favorite Bible verse that you rely on all the time?
Oh gosh, there's so many I love.
I know.
That's a hard one. I love the Bible verse, though. For God did not give me a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Like when I'm getting anxiety, I have to say that over myself.
That's a great one. That's a great one. And that's to the point of taking authority over, of your mind. And because sometimes the enemy, if you will, tries to get in and rob, steal, and destroy your thoughts, right? So that's a good one to pray over yourself. I love that one.
I was
That's
watching
awesome.
Charles Stanley about a year ago, and he was like, the devil attacks when we're hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. He said, I call it halt. And I'm like, that is so true.
That is so true, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we're weak, in other words.
Yes,
right?
when we're weak. Yeah.
When we're weak. That's why I firmly believe that before your feet hit the floor, you got to put on the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, the shield of faith, the sword of the Spirit, the belt of truth, and the sandals of peace.
Mm-hmm.
It's the armor, right? And then everything can repel.
Yep.
So, well, I certainly thank you. God has certainly anointed you and appointed you for a time as this. So thank you so much for coming today and taking the time. I just love you, Hilary.
Oh, I love you. Thanks for asking me.
I'm literally going to try my best to get a better pitch so that I can show up with my karaoke mics and you and I can do some karaoke in Nashville.
I'm sure your pitch is awesome.
Not really. Bob's going.
I'm not allowed to say. I'm under contract. It's part of my clause.
Are there fun karaoke places in LA? Or not
Yeah,
really?
my house.
Oh.
No, literally, this is a fun fact that's probably I shouldn't admit on the air, but during COVID, I spent a lot of time alone karaokeing with my Alexa. I was really just, what else was there to do? So
That's good.
Yeah, there's two places in Thousand Oaks that do karaoke, right?
Yeah, there's places in Thousand Oaks.
Azars and the Mexican restaurant across the street from Azars.
Yeah. And it's just something that, like, I've had people come to my house. I have like 6 or 7, 8, maybe 9 or 10 microphones. And
27.
27, yeah. And people go, no, I don't want to. But by the end of the night, they're literally like, what other song can I sing? Let's sing something else. They just have to kind of break the ice and get into it. But
yeah. Oh, this is fun. I went karaokeing like 2 months ago, and this stranger I didn't know, but he said, hey, will you sing Shallow with me? And I was like, oh my gosh, that's a hard one to sing, but I'll try. And so we sang Shallow together.
You did? Do you have it on camera?
No, not on camera, but I nailed the high part. I'm like, yes, I did it.
That's a hard one. I can't, there's no way I would bow out of that, but I believe you could definitely, yeah. I mean, I've heard you sing. It's effortless. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, we love you and we thank you and we just continue to lift you up and pray that God blesses you with all of your heart's desires.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to see you perform live. And I will also see you in Nashville.
I'm sure me and Billy and Sierra will do a show at some point too as well. That'll be next year probably, but it'll be great.
I can't wait. That's the surprise.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Hilary. We love you.
Thank you. Love you.
We'll see you soon.
Okay.
And we're out.
Hi guys, I'm Cory Oliver and thank you for watching the Coriolis Effect. We hope you enjoyed the previous episode. Here are some more episodes you might enjoy. Hit the subscribe button below and have a great day.